Done. All right, Donald Trump's pocketbook taking a major hit, perhaps sooner than expected. The judge in his civil fraud trial rejecting a request from his defense team to postpone paying a $355 million fine. I think it's more than $400 million now. They were asking for a delay of 30 days. The judge late yesterday said, forget it. Jonathan Turley's here on that. Sir, good morning to you. Here's what Judge Engoron said. You have failed to explain, much less justify any basis for a stay. I'm confident that the appellate division will protect your appellate rights. Here's Letitia James just last week after the verdict. And she's been talking about this for years, Jonathan. Here's last week.
Everyday Americans cannot lie to a bank about how much money they have in order to get a mortgage to buy a home, or a loan to keep their business afloat, or to send their child to college. And if they did, our government would throw the book at them.
I know you got problems with this. I don't think a lot of people understand that before you can file for an appeal, whether the appeal is successful or not, you got to put up the money.
That's right. And it was funny that with the judge's quote, because the explanation is in the figure. He just imposed a $355 million judgment with a law that has never been used in this way. That's the reason, and it's rather obvious. But you also have people like James, who have never built a thing other than their political careers, who are now treating these buildings as if they're theirs. I mean, she said that, she's eyeballing a couple of properties that she might want to seize, like this is a fire sale. And, the fact is that the judge showed absolutely no sense of equity in any of this, that, his decision is the decision of a single jurist. And this party wants to have a review. But in order to do that, he has to pony up what is about $500 million. And that has a gross unfairness to it when you combine the use of the law and the size of his judgment and then this requirement for a deposit. But he just simply brushed those aside and his tone was almost bordered on the mocking.
So contrast that with the piece today in the Wall Street Journal. Former Governor Jeb Bush helped pen this, and it says Elon Musk and Donald Trump cases imperil the rule of law. And I just want to take the last line of their piece, okay? A dispassionate justice system is at the heart of American exceptionalism, and the country would be poor if we lose it. Dispassionate. What they're talking about here is the case against Donald Trump now. And they're talking about a case in Delaware against Elon Musk, where a plaintiff bought 9 shares of Tesla 6 years ago for $200. The value today is $2,000, so good for him. And I hope more people did it back then. But Musk's severance package also makes him the beneficiary of Tesla's success, meaning he would get about $56 billion in a bonus. And the judge right now is trying to unwind that, okay? So come back to this line about a dispassionate justice system, and how do you see this play out?
Well, I was shocked by the Musk decision because this was all laid out with a series of objectives or goals that Musk not only met, but he exceeded. And you have a shareholder who was the beneficiary of the fact that Musk was successful. The value of his relatively small number of shares went up about 10 times. And so that's the reason why the board said, okay, we set out the objectives, you met them and exceeded them, here's your reward. This is very different what the court did here, but it's the level of glee that is so similar to what you see with Trump of many people. Musk became persona non grata the minute he said that he wanted to roll back on censorship on Twitter. That was the key moment when suddenly the mob formed. And they have been after him unrelentingly since that point. But when you see these public celebrations in Delaware and New York, it really shatters your confidence as a business in those systems. And New York used to draw people because it was the center of corporate law. It's now repelling people because of what happened with James.
Well, it's an important story. You write New Yorkers celebrated a verdict like a popular public execution. That takes us back to a day. Sir, have a good weekend. Thanks for coming in and explaining that today. All right, Jonathan Turley, thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.